Welcome to my personal project on how to build a PC. Firstly, we're going to be taking a look at the parts that I used to build this PC. For the motherboard, I went with the ASRock H110M HDS. For the memory, I got 8GB of Corsair Vengeance LPX. For the CPU, I got the Intel Core i5-7500. For the case, I went with the Techwear F3 in the white color, but you can also pick up one in the red and black or the blue and black color, depending on your preference. For the hard drive, I got the 1TB Western Digital Blue. For the graphics card, I got the Gigabyte GTX 1050 Ti. Lastly, for the power supply, I went with the FSB Hydro 500W 80+ certified. Now for the assembly and unboxing of the parts. When unboxing your motherboard, you want to take out the I/O shield, the SATA cables, and the driver disc and put it at one end, and then you can throw away the paperwork. After this, take out the motherboard from the box and remove the anti-static sleeve, keeping the styrofoam underneath. Once you've done this, take the motherboard and put it on top of the box. When unboxing the CPU, you will find the CPU cooler inside and the CPU itself. When taking out the CPU fan, make sure you do not touch the bottom of the fan as there's thermal paste underneath, which is required for it to stick to the CPU when on the motherboard. Next, you want to push down and then pull up on the lever to unlock the CPU slot. Then take the CPU out of its casing. When installing the CPU, make sure the triangle at the bottom of the CPU lines up with a triangle in the CPU socket on the motherboard. This is extremely crucial as this could cause damages to your motherboard and your CPU if this is not done correctly. Furthermore, make sure you apply no pressure when putting the CPU in its place on the socket. Once the CPU is in place, put down the cover of the CPU socket and push down on the lever. Don't be startled when you feel a bit of resistance when pushing down the lever. It's totally normal. Just remember not to push on it too hard. Next, you will have to plug in the CPU fan power cable in the slot located right above which says CPU fan 1. Next up is the installation of the CPU fan. Make sure the 4 pins on the CPU fan line up with the 4 holes on the motherboard. Next, take your case and open it on the window panel side using the thumb screws located at the back of the case. Once you've taken off the screws, gently slide off the panel and put it to one side. Be careful as the window is made out of glass. Next, take your I/O shield which came with your motherboard and unwrap it and put it aside. Next, take your I/O shield and put it into the rectangular cutout located at the back of the PC case. Make sure you push in on all 4 ends of the I/O shield. If you have done it correctly, you will hear 4 clicks for each end. Next, slowly Lower your motherboard into your PC case with the standoff screws lining up with the motherboard, and line up the ports with the I/O shield. Now take the 4 screws that came included with the PC case and screw in your motherboard with the 4 screw holes located on the standoffs. For the RAM, unlock the slots and line up the RAM stick with the slot and gently push down on both ends. If you have done it correctly, you will hear 2 clicks on both ends. Now take your graphics card and take it out of the box and remove the anti-static sleeve and put away the box. Now take your case and stand it up. Now take your graphics card and remove the rubber caps on the HDMI ports on the side of the graphics card. When installing your graphics card, make sure the fans are facing down. To install your graphics card, push into the PCIe slot, which is located underneath the CPU fan. Once you hear a click, you will know that it is securely inserted into the slot. For the installation of the hard drive, take the hard drive and slide it into the bottom right where the hard drive slot is located. Once you've done this, take a screw that has come with the hard drive and screw in the bottom. There will be 4 points where you can screw it in. Next up, for the power supply, open up the box and remove the styrofoam and take it out of the box and put the box to the side. Now route the power supply cables through the bottom of the PC case and place the power supply on the bottom left in the open space. Once you routed the cables through the back, put the power supply in the bottom left of the PC case in this open space. Once it's lined up with the screw holes on the outside, take 4 screws that came with the power supply and screw them in. Now for the cabling, take the 24 pin or the 20 plus pin and put it into the slot right next to the RAM sticks. Now take the small pins that come connected to the PC case and plug them in to the pins located right above the graphics card. Firstly, take the reset SW pin and put it in to the first 2 pins located on the bottom right row. Now take the power SW pins and put them on the top 2 pins on the right side. Now take the 2 4-pin cables that will supply the power for the CPU. The slots for them are located at the top left of the motherboard, right above. Now find the cable which is flat and has no pins in it for the hard drive, and take the SATA cable that came with your motherboard. Once you have found those 2 cables, put them in their matching slots. The other end of the SATA cable goes right underneath the 24 pin wires and right next to the memory sticks. Now for the case fans, find the cables which are located in the top right of the case and plug them in on the very top right of the motherboard.